everybody, welcome back to Best Life and Beyond, back at Disneyland. Today we are going to take a little stroll through Disneyland as if you were with us and we were pointing out some of our favorite secrets,
fun facts, some history.
Yeah.
We've always wanted to make a video like this, but we never really found the time to do it, and we feel like today would be a good day to do it.
Yeah.
So that way, if you come with your friends or family, maybe it's your first time or their first time, you'll be able to share some of these cool, facts, history, cool things that we also point out, like Spencer was saying. If you came with us on it was your first time,
yeah,
we'd likely point out these things and be those nerds and
we often do that with people. If I bring somebody here, I'm always like, oh, you know what that is over there? You know what this is? Hey, by the way, did you know that right there, those types of things. It's really fun for us, and it's a way for you guys to kind of learn a few things. You might know some. Hey, leave in the comments if there's some that we didn't hit, that we didn't get, that you guys know. That would be awesome. Also, take a second to subscribe to the channel, and we have a lot of fun videos like this here at Disneyland, as well as all over the place. We travel around a lot. So let's get started. Let's take a stroll through Disneyland and show you some of our favorite little hidden secrets. Okay, so we're taking the right tunnel in. There's two tunnels here at Disneyland. And when you come through the right tunnel, the first building that you see right here is, right now it's called Disneyana, but it had a previous life. Like I said, it's called Disneyana now, but you can tell by the architecture, it kind of looks like a building that we're used to seeing in the form of what would be a bank. And this, you can see right here in this mural, the Bank of Main Street, a penny saved is a penny earned. This used to be what, Katie?
I think it was like a Bank of America, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and it still has an ATM right over there, ironically.
Yeah. Well, then after that, when I was a kid, this is actually where I came and got my annual pass photo taken.
And right next door to Disneyana is the Opera House. Now, this has significance because not only is it great moments with Mr. Lincoln inside there, this was literally the first building built on Disneyland property. This is where the sawmill was. This is where all the wood was cut to build the rest of Main Street. So it has significance in that fact that this is the first building at Disneyland. All right, so we're making our way down Main Street, and something I wanted to point out, not everybody knows this, but it's worth mentioning that all the windows on Main Street, most of them, there's still some vacancies, have dedications honoring Imagineers and people that helped build Disneyland and make it what it is today. And here's a good example right here on the left, Mark Davis, and then his wife Alice Davis, major contributors. Mark was pretty much the guy that brought humor to the park, was involved in a lot of productions and animated films for Walt Disney, but he was brought here to really bring humor to the park, and he's responsible for being one of the creators of Pirates of the Caribbean, Haunted Mansion, among many, many other things, as well as his wife Alice Davis, who was involved in costumes and lots of different things here at the park. And when you look up at these windows, just realize that these are honoring people that helped create Disneyland and made it and shaped it to what it is today. And another one of my favorite windows is right here, Orange Grove Property Management, Ron Dominguez owner. Ron Dominguez is one of the kids of the Dominguez family who used to own this property before it was Disneyland, and hence the term Orange Grove Property Management. Ron actually became one of the presidents of the park. And one of the trees that existed on the property when the Dominguez family owned it still exists over in Adventureland, and we'll point that out to you a little bit later, but there you go. So if you make a right down the little side street off of Main Street when you're walking in, just past Market House, you'll see there's the lockers there, and then this wall over here is known as the test wall. It's a brick wall that had a lot of different types of bricks, a lot of different textures of bricks, so that they could see which ones they wanted to use for certain areas. At one point, this thing was sitting out on Main Street just to see what worked for what areas, and then it got a permanent home back here by the lockers, and it's still here. And you can tell just a lot of different brick patterns on here, and a piece of Disneyland history that still exists and is practical now because it's got a little water fountain here. And then right on the other side of the lockers, if you notice right here, this little building, there's ice cream cones right there. This used to be an ice cream counter back in the day.
Yeah, I used to get ice cream when I was a kid over here.
Yeah, this was an ice cream spot, and now it's
nothing.
It's nothing now. It's just a facade now.
That they have the two little...
You still see the cones there, so if you're wondering why those are there, because you used to be able to get ice cream right here. Also on this little side street, Hotel Marceline, which Marceline was the hometown of Walt Disney, which inspired him to build Main Street, USA. It was the direct inspiration, so you can get a little history there with Marceline. And as we leave this little side street, one more really cool hidden gem. You hear a lot of talk about hidden Mickeys, right? Well, Katie's favorite hidden Mickey is right there at the base of this cart on Market Street. So as we make our way down Main Street, just know that there are a lot of different secrets and little hidden gems on Main Street. We're just pointing out a few that pop into our head right away, but there's a ton more for you guys to find and to research. Probably one of the most well-known little secrets nowadays here at Coke Corner, or Refreshment Corner as they call it now, is the half bulb. Legendary half bulb. Pretty well known these days, but not everybody knows there's a second half bulb. I'm going to point that out to you right now. So if you move further down the way towards the back of Candy Palace, I will show you. If you look up, there's another Coke chandelier there, and you come in here to this little inset, and if you look right there, there is half bulb number 2. Doesn't get as much attention because it's not right on Main Street, but it's worthy of our attention. Hello, half bulb 2. And the old story about half bulb is that Walt Disney saw when they had laid out the pattern for those bulbs and noticed that the sequencing from red to white was being broken up when the bulbs met, that there was going to either be 2 whites or 2 reds next to each other. Not to be. We had to keep the sequence every other red, white, so the half bulb was born out of that necessity. And like I said, Main Street, as well as the entire park, is full of details and secrets. We're just hitting on a few, you know, some of the ones that
like really our big favorites.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so right at the entrance to Adventureland, the Enchanted Tiki Room, Walt Disney's Enchanted Tiki Room. It's historic, and this is the very first example of audio animatronics in the park ever. Walt originally wanted to have a restaurant with real birds above people dining in the restaurant, and they kind of assured him that that wouldn't be a good idea because the birds would be relieving themselves into everyone's food. So audio animatronics were born. Now deeper into Adventureland, Jungle Cruise right there, but there's something real special on the right side of Jungle Cruise that not a lot of people know about. It's kind of hidden in the back. Let me show it to you. So there's Jungle Cruise entrance right there. And if you notice the base of this palm tree right here, hidden in the corner, goes all the way up above the whole canopy. I believe you can see it from some vantages in the park high up, possibly even Mickey and Friends, but that, my friends, is the Dominguez tree, related to the Dominguez family who owned this property before it became Disneyland. This tree was a wedding gift, apparently, given to the family, and that was one of the clauses that they said they have to keep this tree alive, so they relocated it over here to Adventureland, where it really fits perfectly in the jungle, and the Dominguez tree lives on as a tribute to the family that owned this orange grove that eventually became Disneyland. And like I was saying about the window earlier on Main Street, Ron Dominguez was obviously a direct descendant of that family who became a president of this park, and it's so cool that this is still here.
Especially in those very beginning, like those early stages of the park, he wanted to get trees and plants and things from all over if he could.
No, you're right, because they were asking people that they knew all around, hey, if you got any trees you want to get removed from your property, we'll come and get them free of charge and take them to Disneyland to make this place look awesome. Okay, so a little further past the Dominguez tree at the entrance to the Indiana Jones attraction, you see the sign right there on this tree. If you look at the base of this tree, you'll find a little house for a tiny little man. That is the house of the little man of Disneyland, Patrick Begora. He is the subject of a golden book for Disney.
Yeah, if you've ever seen those little golden books, you could get them on Amazon. I think it's like $5-10.
Yeah, it's the story of Patrick Begora, who is a leprechaun who lives here at Disneyland. That is his home. That is where he lives. A lot of people don't know. They've actually kind of made a break in the gate previously where it used to connect. But people oftentimes sit there and rest or park their strollers, and they have no idea that little leprechaun lives there. It's a great story. Look it up. Patrick Begora, one of my favorites. Oh, Katie, he's one of my favorite characters at Disneyland.
If not, just watch our channel and you'll hear it.
You'll hear it a lot because, Katie, you know what?
What?
Tell you a story about a man.
Nope,
I live at the bottom of a tree at the Indiana Jones attraction.
No.
Now, Katie, this is your first time seeing the absence of Jabba the Stump, as we called him.
Yeah.
The entrance to what used to be Tarzan's treehouse with the bridge. It is long gone. What do you think of the view?
I love it. I love that I can see so much. It really opened this up.
It opened it up. Look at your choices are very clear. Down by the river, over the bridge.
Yeah, and right over the bridge, speaking of which, is 21 Royal, which is actually the most like prestigious, fabulous place. A lot of people say Club 33 is, but 21 Royal is even harder to get into. They used to offer tours and dinners and stuff like that. I haven't heard of anything since the reopening, but if you ever get a chance to get in to see 21 Royal Street, do it.
This is one of the entrances, and it goes right there above Pirates. And one of the decks for 21 Royal right there has a nice little homage to Walt and Roy Disney. If you look on the left, WD in gold, and on the right, RD in gold for Walt Disney and Roy Disney, right there on that balcony to 21 Royal.
For any of you who don't know who Roy Disney is, that's actually Walt's brother.
He was the finance man. He was the guy that actually built Walt Disney World and realized that dream for his brother before passing. Now, the next thing we're going to talk about here is New Orleans Square Station for the Disneyland Railroad. This used to be the Frontierland Station before New Orleans Square was built, because it was the only access to Frontierland, and Frontierland kind of extended over into what is now New Orleans Square. But there's something audio-based over here that you may have heard that we're going to explain to you. There's a clicking sound that you hear, you may or may not have heard when you've been over here, that is very important and has a very significant meaning, and it's here and it plays all the time. Basically, that is Morse code for Walt Disney's opening day speech in 1955 for Disneyland in Morse code form, and it's clicking all the time. It's a fun little secret. If you ever heard that, that's what's going on. It's basically that whole speech that says, "To all who come to this happy place, welcome," and so on and so on, right here at New Orleans Square Station. Okay, so there is Haunted Mansion behind the trees. There's Splash Mountain, and this little place called Harbor Galley right here is on the edge of what is known as Fowler's Harbor, where you see the Columbia parked right now getting ready for Fantasmic. And if you walk past Harbor Galley over here and you see the sign that says Fowler's Inn, the path continues. Obviously Fowler's Inn referring to Fowler's Harbor right here. Joe Fowler was basically the construction manager for Disneyland. Walt had hired him to help build the Mark Twain originally. He needed a naval expert, and Joe Fowler was the guy. He ended up being the general manager of the park. He even helped build Walt Disney World. There's even one of the ferries that goes to the Magic Kingdom called the Joe Fowler. Little history behind the name of what this is, but this little path has a cool little seating area over here. Kind of come get away from it all. Really nice shaded area.
We used to do What's Happening Wednesday back here for first, like, I don't know, first year.
We did.
Was right here.
Yeah. And it kind of wraps around right next to the rivers of America, and you get a beautiful view of not only the river, but of Tom Sawyer's Island right there. And you can see people who just came down the drop from Splash Mountain as they make their way back around. And there they go again. You can see this channel where they continue on the attraction, and you look up and there's the drop at Chickapin Hill right there. But the secret path is very cool. It kind of bypasses the bridge area that goes right next to Splash Mountain on the other side of those hedges. And it just kind of snakes around here. And it ends up right at the concession area here and connects back with the main drag towards Hungry Bear. It's sometimes referred to as the not-so-secret path, but like I said, it's on the map. There's just no name for it, but this is it, and it's a fun little diversion to avoid the traffic, to get away, get some good views, and check out Splash Mountain. People dropping down Chickapin Hill right there. So we're not going to go deeply into Critter Country, but just past the Hungry Bear restaurant on the right is the Winnie the Pooh attraction, which used to be the Country Bear Jamboree back in my youth. And there are some homages in and around this area to that attraction. There's one inside Winnie the Pooh actually, but there's some on the way this way towards Galaxy's Edge that I'll show you right now. Okay, so this set of restrooms that is below the Hungry Bear right here, if you notice the sign right there with the skunk on it, his name is Randy, and he used to be in the Country Bear Jamboree. He was in the Vacation Hoedown version. He popped out of the hat of one of the bears at one point, and he's pretty much living forever right there and pointing out the restrooms, which is kind of a funny joke if you think about it. Even the names of the restrooms show homage to some of the characters. That's Gomer right there, Gentleman's Lair. Okay, we wandered into Galaxy's Edge and we stumbled upon Boba Fett. He's hard to see, but this is the area that you want to look for him. Make way for the bounty hunter. There he goes.
Why? Would you be on my list?
Absolutely not. I got your back.
Good.
I got your jetpack. All right, so that was ultra cool because, first of all, I haven't seen Boba Fett in Galaxy's Edge yet. I've seen him in, Tomorrowland years ago, but that was the first sighting here. But that's where you want to look for him, is on this side of things. We're kind of more on the Resistance side, on the outskirts here. He's very elusive, along with Fennec Shand, so if you want to find him, this is where you want to look. And in general, there's a lot of characters that lurk around these parts. You'll see R2-D2 cruising right about here. But if, like I said, back in this area is kind of where Boba Fett is found, and kind of, I think, in the marketplace a little bit too. All right, so if you notice at the top of those stairs right there, I'm gonna zoom in. You see those numbers on those cargo boxes, 77, 80, and 83. Those are the 3 release dates for the original trilogy of Star Wars, Star Wars, Empire Strikes Back, and Return of the Jedi in that order right there. A little Easter egg in Galaxy's Edge, homage to the original trilogy. I also thought that this was a hidden Mickey up there when I first got into Galaxy's Edge on the opening night. If you look up there, those 3 blast marks. I don't know if it is, but I know another one that I can show you. Oh yeah, so we took a little quick Blue Milk stop in Galaxy's Edge. We highly recommend this. Make sure to do mobile order. It's refreshing, especially when it's hot like it is today. And when you're talking a lot and showing people all these cool things, you need a little Blue Milk break. The best. And now they got this like...
The sour one.
The sour version is just the best.
Only if you like sour and you like the blue milk anyway.
That's true.
So, if you don't like it, don't try it.
True. All right, on to the next one. Okay, so if you find yourself over here at the Millennium Falcon by Smuggler's Run, there's the entrance to the attraction. There's something right around this path around the corner. It's pretty hidden, but it's worth showing you guys. You take a walk up this ramp, you turn the corner here on the switchback, past these big blast doors, and right here, this is definitely 100% a hidden Mickey. Love this one. Looks like laser blast marks, obviously. But that's pretty hidden because it's tucked away back here. Okay, so we exited the Fantasyland path out of Galaxy's Edge, and we're kind of in an area that used to be, what, Katie?
Big Thunder Ranch.
Big Thunder Ranch.
We had the goats back there.
Barbecue.
Great barbecue.
Yep.
It was so awesome.
Yep, and there's a little homage back here that I'm going to take you over to, and it's right here. If you notice, this little setup of wagon wheels and kind of Western themed stuff, looks like a little fire. And this little lantern, if you notice, the lantern says BTR for Big Thunder Ranch. That's its little homage, like Disney loves to do. When they retire things, they kind of leave a little clue to the past as to what used to be here, and that is our homage to Big Thunder Ranch. And then just across from the old Big Thunder Ranch site, you see Big Thunder Mountain going by there in the background. This little train steam kind of thing here outside this mine was actually a screen-used prop in a movie called Hot Lead and Cold Feet with Don Knotts and Jim Dale. Jim Dale, if you remember, was Dr. Terminus in Pete's Dragon, the original. But that is a screen-used prop right there. That I have good information on that, and it's really cool because it looks like it's about to go into that haunted mine right there at Big Thunder. Okay, back in Fantasyland across from Red Rose Tavern, and right here is Casey Jr. This is the exit of Casey Jr. Circus train, and if you notice these steps back here, the steps to nowhere, well, they used to lead to somewhere, and they used to lead to the Fantasyland Skyway Station, which was up there in the trees. Back in the day, went all the way through the Matterhorn and then dropped you off at Tomorrowland, the Sky Buckets, as they're sometimes called. Just one set of remaining steps. Actually, there's 2. I'll show you the other set. And the other set exists right here, also leading up into nowhere. I forget if this was the entrance. I feel like this was the entrance and the other one was the exit, but yeah, it used to be up there in those trees. Those trees have obviously gotten overgrown and allowed to, and it was removed. It sat there until they built Galaxy's Edge, and then it was removed. It's pretty cool though, because you can picture the line that it went straight through the Matterhorn that way. So there's a lot of cool stuff in Fantasyland. One of the things, if you notice, up on top of each of the buildings, there are weather vanes that relate to the attraction. Obviously, there's TikTok right there. Each of them, there's the ship, the pirate ship for Peter Pan. Each of the buildings have weather vanes that are appropriate to the attraction. And when looking at the castle from this angle in Fantasyland, what is now the backside was once supposed to be the front in its initial design when it was being pitched to Walt Disney with the model. It was spun around on a table, I guess, that had wheels, so that this was facing backwards, and he saw what is now the front of the castle first and loved it, signed off on it, and they had no choice but to make this the back of the castle. According to Walt, he loved it the way he saw it first. And then over here at Bippity Boppity Boutique, this used to be a toy shop, and it was all Peter Pan themed, and there's some leftovers from that. You see Mr. Smee, you see Captain Hook right there, and then TikTok right there. And then the building used to extend further down that way, where there was another beam that had Nana on the front. That has been kind of removed because they expanded Fantasyland here sometime back. But yeah, it used to be a toy shop, and it was all Peter Pan related, and that's why those characters are still sitting there. Okay, we're taking the tunnel out towards Tomorrowland because there's something really cool over here. More Peter Pan related stuff as we make our way towards the wishing well. Now it's a bit overgrown, but there's a set of stairs that walks right back here. And if you come around and look, very closely at this tree right here. And carved into it are the initials for Peter Pan and Wendy Darling. And ironically, the door that's right behind me is a back door, cast member only access to the Peter Pan attraction. And if you listen closely, you can hear the attraction. Pretty cool, right? And then of course the old Snow White wishing well. Oh, there's some flowers in there today.
Yeah, they were hanging up here and now they're not.
Interesting. So all these coins get donated to children's charities, just so everybody knows. All the coins they find in all the waterways here at Disneyland. And then obviously you got all the Snow White characters and then Snow White up top up there.
Which was actually scaled down to look farther away,
yeah,
right?
It was. And it was also a gift. An anonymous gifter gave that to Walt Disney and he didn't know what to do with it. And that's a replica of the original one. But originally, that was the inspiration for all this, was somebody had carved and sent him this Snow White statue, and that was the inspiration for this whole area. Now, where the original is, I don't know, but it's pretty cool when this show goes on and those fish start swimming around and
She'll start singing from here, and then you can hear her echoing in the actual fountain.
yeah, in the wishing well.
So I think it's like every half hour, maybe.
Yeah.
I think it's every half hour or hour. So if you're ever around, wait for it because it's a beautiful little thing.
Katie does a good rendition of it.
I'm wishing.
See, you did. It was excellent. Okay, in between Tomorrowland and Fantasyland is the old Ariel's Grotto, right?
Yeah, it used to be Ariel's Grotto, and Zaddy King Triton was actually there, but now, I don't know if it's the exact same one, but he's on top of the Little Mermaid attraction over in DCA.
I believe it is the same one repurposed, yes. And I think Little Mermaid, she used to be up on that flat rock.
Oh yeah, I think so.
Right back there.
Yeah.
Right? And then Triton was in the middle, and then his trident actually squirted out water.
Yes, it did.
Right?
Yeah, it spouted water. It was pretty cool.
Now it's Duck's Grotto, because they love this place.
Ducky's Grotto. It's really supposed to be like Pixie Hollow part of it now.
But look at these guys have taken over the islands.
And then at night, sometimes you'll see a little water and color, light type show happen here. So again, kind of like Snow White's Grotto. I think it's maybe every hour, I think, something like that. So definitely check that out.
Here's a better angle of where Ariel used to sit up on that kind of flat rock up there. All right, we're deep in Tomorrowland, and up top there used to be the rocket jets that now kind of exist as the Astro Orbiter at the entrance, repurposed and changed a lot. But the People Mover track that leads to it right there used to be the home of where those jets were, and obviously the People Mover was right there as well. And why we're telling you this is because there's so much history here.
Tomorrowland honestly has, in my opinion, some of the most interesting, fun facts. Another one that we love so much is that almost all the plants here are edible.
Yeah.
They have gardens of all kinds of things.
Like right behind us here, all the stuff in these gardens over here.
Artichokes, tons of things.
Yeah.
But there's lots of history too, right over there. This actually used to be a whole Mary Blair tile situation that's under there.
Right, and it was on the opposite side as well.
Right, and then we have Adventures Through Inner Space that used to exist where Star Tours is.
Yep.
We also have Astro Blasters right there. That actually used to be part of the queue for rocket rods.
Right, because you'd take a tunnel under here.
Right.
And then head over here to get on rocket rods, which replaced the People Mover, right?
Yes, it did.
Yeah.
We also have, we had America Sings and Innoventions. We had so many things happening here, but we figured we would take you over to Store Command so we could share with you something that we think is really, really cool to share with your friends, repurposed ride vehicles.
This is Store Command, and this is where we're going to find what Katie was talking about.
So cool.
And here is one of the original rocket jets, vertically placed, obviously.
Isn't that cool,
as a display, right? And they even still have the lever that you would push to go up and down, kind of like on Dumbo, same thing. And then these used to have kind of grip tape on them, and you would step out off of these. But that is an original rocket jet. There's two of these in this store.
Right.
And then here at the Cash Wrap, they have repurposed People Mover cars. Those are actual People Mover cars right there, painted and repurposed.
To think we likely sat in one of
Yeah, but
Like more than likely.
it's pretty cool recycling if you think about that. But yeah, these would be the doors, obviously, that would open and you would walk in right there. So that would be a whole car right there.
And it kind of looked like this a little bit.
Oh yeah, the railing that went around was very similar to that. Yep. And then when Katie was talking about edible plants, look at this.
Yeah, we got
Look at
rosemary.
artichoke right there.
Artichoke.
Look at this. All this stuff edible here.
Might be some under or flat leaf parsley.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Hard to say, but pretty cool. Pretty cool if you think about that. All right, back on Main Street. Did you guys know that magic shop has been here for a long time, and a very well-known comic used to work at the magic shop, Steve Martin? Yep, that's right. All right, well, that's going to end our little stroll. Now, there are tons, I would dare say hundreds more.
Yeah, we could probably make 25 videos.
There's so many little
filled.
details,
Yeah.
whether it's hidden Mickeys or little stories or what used to be here and what that was.
Especially history. Disneyland is full of history.
It's deep, it's full of it. So we will probably do another one of these, but this is just kind of our way to afternoon stroll. This is what we usually talk about anyways when we're cruising around, so we hope you enjoyed it. If you did, or if you have any of those that you guys know about that we don't, please leave it in the comments, and we'd love to hear some of those stories. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to this video. We will see you next time on Best Life and Beyond. Bye-bye, everybody.